All right, cool. So today what we're gonna do is actually have a conversation. We're not gonna code today. So I wanted to talk to y'all, and obviously some of y'all already like from the previous class we had this conversation before, but feel free to chime in. But I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome and what that is. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because we've been learning a lot of stuff in this class. Like some of y'all probably feel like we've been going really fast. There's too much stuff to remember, XYZ. So I wanted to go over what imposter syndrome is, and just to give you some insight on it, and just to show you that actually, like, if you do feel like we're going too fast, like this is actually a very common thing. So imposter syndrome, for anybody who don't already know, is basically feeling like um feeling like you're in over your head, or you kind of like don't belong, so to speak. Hold on one moment, hold on.
Somebody in trouble. Ooh. I told you stop playing around with them dang on toys in this dang on room, didn't I?
Yeah, my fiance, she's in the other room doing her podcast. So yeah, but either I don't know if y'all can hear her, but anyway, yeah, imposter syndrome is feeling like you don't belong, right? So and just to connect it to like this class a little bit, some of you might feel like maybe this is not for you. And to be honest, like this, like just working in this industry, you're always going to feel a sense of like not knowing, so to speak. Like there's never like I can come and I can teach y'all like all of this stuff, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I can like teach it seamlessly. But like when I'm on a job myself, like there's still times to this day, and probably it's going to be forever, where I don't know what they're talking about. Like I can literally sit in a meeting and they're like discussing stuff, and for me everything's going completely over my head. And I want y'all to know that that's completely normal. So if y'all hear me talk about things and it's like, okay, this is over my head, this is like not this is not easy or whatever, or maybe I won't get this. Like a lot of the time, what it comes down to is just kind of y'all kind of like practicing it, asking questions, just hanging in basically. And what I would say is the best way to go about being a software engineer is to have some resilience, and just like the attitude of like just kind of like never giving up. It's like um and feel free to chime in for y'all. I don't want this to feel like it's a lecture, like this is a conversation. But yeah, like never really giving up on a problem. Like there's been times where I'm kind of at work and they give me a task to do, and when I first look at it, it's like I have no clue how to do it. Like I really don't know how to do it. And even when I do know how to do it and I can't figure out a solution, like I always hit this wall. And this happens very often, probably once every like week or so. I always run into these issues that I don't know how to solve. But like the more I guess the more effort I put into it, the closer I always get to the goal, to the finish line. Um, so I'll open it up to the class with a question like, does anybody feel like the class is moving a little too fast? Maybe they feel a little of this imposter syndrome. Um, yeah, and if nobody feel that way, do anybody want to chime in on like their experience with, I guess, imposter syndrome, and like how they kind of like deal with that? Um,
I'll say, brother, I really enjoy your class, and
Yeah.
I've learned a whole lot. The challenges that I have, I'll just speak to myself, and I may be the only one, but is that to put in, like, I really think, first of all, going back to it, is that your videos are really good. And my challenge is to actually do the projects in the videos, because when I do them, I really gain an understanding. I had to really push myself on that homework assignment. And I spent a probably unusual, not a probably, but I did spend an unusual amount of time that I normally don't have to put into it. And so that, therefore, I guess I am definitely in that syndrome, because I know that it'd be difficult for me to carve out that amount of time from the schedule that I have, but I could be the only one. But it definitely teaches me, going back to what that I want to do with our young people in terms of creating a similar program, is a question of how do we, if we're going to move at this pace, then we have to find a way, I guess, to pay the people to be able to take the class, because they won't really be able to work, full-time jobs. Like, I'm working two full-time jobs, really 2.5 full-time jobs. They won't be able to do that and take a class like this, which is in itself, it could be, if you put the time in it, it could actually be a full-time job itself. So the question is, can we come up with some money to be able to do that? Or if not, then how do we, pace it in a way that will allow them to do it like, kind of a, a normal course, where you would like spend like maybe an hour, before every class meets, and be able to still be, be competent. And that's, at least that's on my own perspective. But again, I'm sure I'm probably different from everybody else. But I did want to, share that, and I appreciate you opening the floor for us.
Yeah.
So, hey, Talib, I'm not sure if you're referencing the videos for just the one that Isaiah posted on YouTube, or just the videos for Udemy. But Udemy actually has a scheduling. Yeah, they actually have like a scheduling system that you can make for yourself to kind of help you cut out some time each day. I'm not sure if you saw that during.
I didn't. That's definitely, yeah. I didn't see that. But
yeah, they give me that option almost every time I'm on there. It's like, hey, you want to schedule, X amount of time. They could schedule like from an hour, maybe less. I haven't set it up yet, but they advertise it a lot to me though.
I haven't seen it. I have to dig around, or if you have a link to that particular schedule, definitely let you know. But again, the key thing for me is like, and again, most classes that you take, you can keep up with class so long as you can like do an hour of work per class meeting. But this class is not like that, because every video, that Udemy video, it takes, well, first of all, the class videos are at least an hour. So if you're going to do that, and that's another hour. But then the Udemy videos themselves, to do the projects, sometimes take me about 30 minutes to an hour per video. And so if we are basically, for every class, that we meet, if we're doing like 3 sections of videos, which are like about, how many videos do you have per section, Isaiah?
A lot.
Yeah. So you have like 10 videos. Let's say, I think it's more than 10, but let's say you have 10 videos per section, and you're doing work based upon 3 sections per class or per week. That's like, possibly 30 hours. And that just, I just myself, I can't give 30 hours to the class, even if I would like to, in order to become competent. I find it difficult to do that.
Yeah. What I was gonna do to like try to help that out was to try to so Dio, he actually gave me a suggestion to create a Discord groups. And what we're gonna do moving forward is to try to move everything to Discord. probably within the next like 2 weeks. And with that, y'all gonna be able to collaborate more easily. Like I'll create like different groups, like group names for your different team members. And the reason I say that this is gonna help that is because whenever y'all start like collaborating together and really like meeting, like you don't have to learn it on your own. Like and the explanation may be even be better coming from like a team member. And if y'all start to really working together, because y'all are your best resource, because it's more of y'all than it's just one of me. Like y'all gonna be able to help each other out and make yourselves more efficient by working together. But it's definitely gonna take some effort to I guess on your end to just kind of like work together as groups, just to get into the habit of whenever you get stuck, ask a question. And when I say like whenever you get stuck, I mean like whenever you're stuck for like an hour, I would say, on something like, or if it's something really simple, if you're stuck for like 30 minutes, throw it in the chat. Hopefully we can get good enough where, you know, somebody see a question in chat, somebody answers it right away, unblocking you, you know, so you can continue on. And I'm really hoping this shift to Discord is gonna help with collaboration, and hopefully help with efficiency with learning all this stuff.
I like that idea, but can I give a recommendation or amendment to that plan?
Sure.
Instead of using Discord, can we use Slack?
So yeah, I mean, to be honest, both is kind of open. So what I'm
The reason I say that, 'cause I know there's been some security issues with Discord, so I'm myself been kind of wary about it. But I know that there's, with any platform, there's going to be some security issues. But
yeah. So the reason I was saying Discord, and this is just from off of like from what I heard so far, just from it being suggested, is that Discord has everything that Slack has plus a little bit more. You know, obviously I'm gonna do some research on that, but I definitely want to give us like the best platform to work from, whatever has the most things, because I'm even going to try to record from Discord, like, and like completely like remove the need for us to get on Zoom, and even like and even go past like just recording, like sending out reminders, and just whatever other kind of features it has. But I'll do some research on Discord versus Slack, and then try to make a decision from there.
can we take a poll and see who also
Sure.
who on the in the group is more familiar with one versus the other? I don't know if that would be a something you would take in consideration too.
Sure. Yeah, that.
So hey, you guys with Slack, can you do like a audio chat? So I know with Discord you can pretty much do everything that you can on Zoom, I think, except for video, or maybe some video as well. But does Slack have like audio calling, like group calling, like everybody is now? Or because I'm not too familiar with Slack. I know
Yeah,
Discord,
Slack.
but yeah.
For Slack, you can send like audio message, like how iPhone is. You can also do Zoom video calls or Slack video calls where you can share the screen, which is called like a huddle. You can just huddle real quick with either individuals or like a whole group.
Does anybody else have any I guess
Okay, cool. So I was familiar, like I said, I did last week. So
I put something in the chat. It's like a Discord versus Slack column from technewstoday.com.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, so it'll probably give you a quick and dirty, you know, one versus the other. That way you can kind of get a feel for what's cracking with both. And if anyone else in the chat want to go ahead and look at the chat, funny enough, y'all can do that. And yeah, all that other good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a read through this probably after class, because I definitely this is good. I definitely want to make everything more efficient in this class and move to a different platform. because I do see that there's room for improvement for like, because I mean we do things over Instagram, which is not the best interface for a coding class. So
now with the Slack or Discord, would that take the place of the Zoom meetings as well, or just the Instagram portion of it?
yeah, hopefully everything, to be honest.
Hopefully everything. Okay.
Put everything in one platform. That way we won't have to download multiple, like, just to make things convenient, you know.
Right. So with that, I think that from what I've like gathered from Slack so far, it looks like they could be a little more prepped for it, just because I was seeing a lot of different avenues with it. But I guess we can, still everybody do their research, figure it out.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna read this article to go through that. Yeah. How so I guess my question to the class, like, does anybody else feel like, the class is maybe moving a little bit too fast, maybe feel a little bit overwhelmed, maybe have some thoughts, concerns about anything? This is definitely the time to, like, talk about it so we can, course correct to make the class work for everybody.
I get overwhelmed with myself, but that's because like Talib was saying, is like, for me, my schedule, it is really hard to get in the hours because it do take time, and I like to be like real proficient in things, and I write a lot of stuff down because it helped me remember. So sometimes I either put not too much time, but I put a lot of time in, whereas though I don't get something else done, like in my personal life I was supposed to do. But I don't think that it's like something that you can fix. It's just something with me with like time management and stuff like that. And then also, me and Diamond study a lot together and stuff like that. So we be trying to like get our schedules together, whereas though we free at the same time. So we can go over the videos and, just work on coding and stuff. So I think the overwhelming thing is probably more so within our own minds when we get to that point. Because you do stop a lot, ask if we have questions, if we understand. So I'm not saying there's nothing to improve. Everything can use improvement, but I don't think that in that aspect is something that you can really do. Is really what we're like, we got to figure out what our personal issue is that's making us overwhelmed, and then try different strategies so it'd be easier on ourselves. Because the course is a little hard to remember things, but it's just like a big brain buster. So if you get stuck, it just take a little bit of research, a little bit of reading, and then trial and error for the most part. So I think it's more so of everybody figuring out what their own personal struggles is, and trying to fix it up. So it might be studying with somebody else, or it might be not study, like people that don't do so well with groups, or the more quieter ones that don't feel like what they contribute would be valuable. It might be something like that. It's just, it could be like a handful of stuff. Sorry, my kids, it's just a little loud.
All right, cool. Yeah, you touched on a lot of stuff. So one of the things you touched on was like, you definitely mentioned like doing like some research, like, if you get stuck on something, and that's something I definitely want to highlight. With like software engineering, or like this class, or just moving forward, just always get into mindset of looking things up online. Like if you don't understand them, go to YouTube. Because honestly, I feel like YouTube is probably the best because you get somebody to physically like explain it to you. Like in the beginning, whenever you start to learn code, and even like when you're intermediate, reading the stuff online can be really confusing, because they use a lot of jargon. They use a lot of like tech words. So it's hard to understand what they're saying. For me, now everybody learns a little bit differently, but for me, I look at YouTube videos, I get the explanation from somebody, and then I'll go and try to read about it. And that connects the dots for me. So I'll say, okay, now I have some background on what I'm trying to learn. Now I see exactly what it is online, that they're like the lingo, like the jargon that they're saying, and I connect those dots together. Um, anybody else have any thoughts on that or anything?
No, I actually agree with that 100%. That's almost exactly how I go about it. 9 times out of 10, if I don't know something, I'm straight to Google with it. So a lot of times just looking at the videos or listening to you talk about it, or even watching you doing it on some occasions don't necessarily help it stick. Usually what helps it stick is me doing it myself. And so I watch you go through a problem, and then you can give me the exact same problem and say, here, go solve it. And then it'll take me hours to do what you did in minutes. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because watching it is different than doing it. And so that's where the Googling comes in, and the YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's easier to watch somebody do it on YouTube than it is reading it. But then when I go back and read it after watching somebody do it, like you do it in class or somebody do it on YouTube, then that's when it really starts to stick. And then if I don't know a word, when they're starting to use that jargon, I just look up the word. So it's almost like learning another language. It's exactly like that, actually. Well, every time you get stuck on a word, instead of just going through the word, like not necessarily knowing what it means, just like looking it up and understanding it, then continuing for it. It takes a crap ton of time sometimes, but eventually you start to slowly put those pieces together to the next time you see it, it'll be easier, and then you get faster and faster and faster as you go.
Right.
I definitely understand. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I think I cut you off.
No, you ain't one.
All right, cool. What's it called? Oh wait, where's you about to go? I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to get it in. I'm primed. I'm primed and ready to go. Cut me off because I keep going. Now let me quit.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I understand the imposter syndrome. I understand how everybody can get overwhelmed, because for a lot of everyone in this room, every single concept that they're learning at this point is gonna be brand spanking new. So it's almost like being dropped in Vietnam trying to speak Vietnamese, and you've only ever spoken English all your life. You know what I'm saying? It's understandable that people will be totally and utterly overwhelmed, period. You know what I'm saying? That said, take it slow is what I would suggest. If you don't have time, you probably want to try to make some time. Everybody has some type of time. Even the busiest people got some type of time, and it at some point will take a certain amount of sacrifice. That's why you took the class, right? You want to learn, and you're just gonna have to make time. Some people are gonna have to make more time than others. Some people have more time than others on a very finite level, you know what I'm saying? But you just gotta make as much time as possible. And that's where the question's gonna come in at, because that's gonna save you a bunch of time. If you shy, then you're not helping yourself at all. You're gonna have to try to get past that and get to the point where you can ask questions, because that's the only way. As soon as you get stuck, asking a question is going to help you get through it faster. And I'm pretty sure I'm just repeating what everybody else said. So, I apologize for piggybacking off everybody else and trying to sound smart, because I know I ain't smart. Now let me quit. I am smart. All that said though, all that said, I try to help anybody as much as I possibly can. Please ask questions as much as you feel like asking questions, even if the question is quote unquote stupid, because if you don't know, it ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? Only time you really look stupid is when you're supposed to know it, but you don't know it. And that's like after you claim to be an expert. Like I'm an expert at it, and then you don't know some of the most basic stuff. That's when you start looking stupid. But if you say, hey, I don't know this, and you ask questions about it, you don't necessarily look stupid. You look like somebody who's trying to learn. Right now we're in a class. You're in a class to learn. So you shouldn't know anything, because that's why you in class, to be taught. You know what I'm saying? So allow yourself to be taught, and allow yourself to be as free as you need to be asking those questions. And ask all of the questions that you have, every single one, because I be having a bunch of questions, and I forget sometimes asking the questions that I be trying to ask. And plus, it's nice having other voices ask questions too. So I ain't the only one asking questions. Like, y'all part of the class. And if you feel shy, leave a question in the chat, and somebody gonna pick it up. But ask your question. Make sure you get that mug off, Because if you don't, then somebody else who got the same question is going to be lost, and it's going to take way more time for them to finish because you didn't ask the question that you had in the first place, and the other person didn't do it either. So, I'm saying.
So you
all right, I'm gonna jump off my soapbox.
You touched on a few things. So one thing I definitely want to highlight from there is you had mentioned like it's going to take some time to do, right? Now I want to just point out that it's completely normal to take like hours to do like a simple thing or like hours trying to like fix something, as crazy as that sounds. Because when you spend an hour or you spend 2 hours trying to do something, whenever you find a solution, you're not going to forget it. Like and the next time you see it, you automatically going to know how to do it. And it happens all the time. Like literally learning how to program is a series of getting stuck. Like you do something, you get stuck. You do something, you get stuck. It happens over and over again. And the only way for you to get unstuck is to do, like I was saying earlier, you need to be resilient. You need to keep pushing forward, keep trying to search online for the solutions, ask questions. That's really the only way to get through it. And like I said, everybody go through it. Even me at work now go through that. And to highlight another thing you said, Jay, about like not basically not knowing or whatever, or like being an expert at something and not knowing the basics, like at work or whatever, like there. So in this space in general, right, there's different like parts of it. There's front end development, there's back end development, there's DevOps, there's like there's site, there's SRE, there's so many different like levels to tech. Like it's not just what I'm teaching y'all. And when you're at work, you're in the group with people in those different specialties. So you got somebody from different different specialties in tech. And when y'all work together, when y'all collaborate together, some of the things y'all going to say amongst yourselves, like other people is not going to understand what's going on or understand what you're saying. But what we do know as like developers is that a lot of the time, a lot of this stuff is just concepts. It's like as long as I understand conceptually what's going on, like that's all that really matters. And if I don't know how to do something, then I'll lean on somebody else who specializes in that thing, and I'll ask them to do it. And that's literally like what like a manager does. Like for example, my manager, he looks to be like the smartest person in the world. It's ridiculous how much it seems like he knows, but what he really know how to do is how to delegate tasks. Like he'll say, okay, like we need this thing done. I'm not a specialty in that. Like Isaiah knows how to do that. I'm gonna give Isaiah that project. Okay, now it's about a back end thing. Okay, now I'm gonna give this guy that project, and we keep there's always this coordination between us until we complete a project. And like and all of this is done like not fully understanding the complete picture of it all. So with that being said, all I'm trying to say is it's okay to not know, as long as you have the resources, which is your group. Ask the question and then you'll get the answer. You'll get to it eventually. Yeah, any thoughts, comments, concerns? I'm trying to think of anything else.
Nope, I definitely get the whole imposter syndrome thing. Even with my current job, it's not JavaScript or anything, but there is some programming involved. And I've been there 7 years and I know a lot, but like you said, it's because of trial and error. Like the stuff that took me the longest, those hardest lessons are the ones that stick with me the most. So I know it in 2 seconds because it took me 2 weeks to figure it out, at some point. So I think it just comes down to kind of, reminding yourself that you don't have to know it all. And if you don't, like you said, don't feel like an imposter. Don't tell yourself you're not a programmer. But truth be told, a lot of programming is debugging and figuring out what you did wrong. So if you've never worked on a certain type of project or a certain type of website, you may be used to building restaurant websites, for example, and they'll give you a project for a bank website. That's completely different, front end and back end. And you shouldn't feel like an imposter or I'm not a developer. No, I just haven't worked in that space yet. And so that's just another area for me to grow and figure it out. And I think, like you said, just being resilient and knowing what resources you have. Like I use W3 schools a lot. They're pretty good, just for searching anything with code. Even with the initial project, I used W3 schools to just help me out as I was going along with the first project that we had, just to get into the class and stuff. But yeah, knowing where to look and just having that diligence to take the time to look for the answers. And like everyone else is saying, not being afraid to ask questions.
Right. So I thank you for that. So I put the W3 schools link in the chat. W3 schools, for those who don't know, is a place for you to learn how to code pretty much with like no experience at all. I'm literally on W3 school right now, trying to get like refreshed with like database stuff. So I'm like doing like SQL stuff, like stuff that I already know, but I'm like refreshing my memory. And it's because W3 schools break down like the concepts so well, and like they really do explain the stuff at like a very basic level. So I would definitely recommend that. And to point out another thing you had said, Terrence, is like the way things are as a developer is different than like the way they are. Like let me do a comparison. Let's say you work at like a grocery store, right? Now, when you get in on a job, you clock in, you go to the register, you got to ring up all these people. After, when there's no line, you go to the shelf, you stock the shelves, you come back to the register, you start ringing people up. Like there's a continuous, like you're always continuously doing stuff. Now, when you're a software engineer, a lot of the stuff that you're not continuously writing code. Like literally, like I probably write maybe like 20 lines of code a week or something like that. Like literally the goal is for you to minimize the amount of code that you actually write in order to solve a problem. So a lot of the time, a lot of the time is spent researching. Like no one expects you to know it. So you research, you if there's a bug in the app, and we're gonna see some of that stuff when we get to the JavaScript section. But when there's a bug in the app, you go through the code, you check all of this stuff, and like there's literally like a path. There's like a like it's almost like solving a puzzle almost. It's like you're a detective. You see it here, you see something here, you go check there. You get to that place and then you see something else, and that leads you somewhere else in the code. And literally like the code can be like thousands upon thousands of lines of code. So there's a lot of code, and there's like breadcrumbs for you to follow until you finally get to the place where you fix the bug. And all of that time could have taken you a whole week to do. Like it's not like they expect you, they say, okay, here's a bug, or here's something we want you to solve. They want you to solve it that day. It's like, no, they want they tell you what they want you to solve. You get some time to research it, you get some time to debug, and you get some time to fix it. And that may be a long process. It really just depends on what they're asking you to do. And as another comparison, when you're like, I guess like working in like a grocery store or something like that, like people, they can give you, they'll say, we want you to ring up X amount of people, whatever. Or when you're like working at a clothing store or something, we want you to get customers to open up X amount of credit cards for the like store cards or whatever. When you're coding and they ask you like, and they say how they can't really tell you how many things to fix, and they really can't ask you how long it takes to fix it, because every problem is unique. And like we can, a lot of time we're given like ballpark amounts of time to fix something. I say, how long does it take to fix this thing? We'll say, okay, we really don't know, but we think it might take X amount of days or whatever. Like in this space, like there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like estimating. There's not a finite amount of things for you to do. So and that kind of like brings it around to like what we see in a class today. Like we see that people are trying to learn. We see that people are spending hours to like learn these things. And like honestly, like there is no number for you to understand these things, and there is no like real number for you to complete like a task. All you can do is move towards the finish line, and hopefully you get there in time. And obviously, you know, y'all are your own resource to help y'all get to the finish line a lot faster. So so yeah, with that being said, like you're gonna see a lot of like estimating when you're in this industry. You're gonna see a lot of like just guessing at how long it's gonna take to get something done. And to be honest, like I was saying earlier, for the people who was for the people who was on earlier, I was saying how like I really don't go a full day working, a full day coding, and part of that is because the stuff is so time consuming. Like it takes so much brain power that you have to take a break. Like make sure y'all take those breaks. Don't try to work a whole like hour straight. Like work maybe 30 minutes, take like a 10-minute break, work 30 minutes, take a 10-minute break, because those small breaks is going to help y'all like regroup. It's going to help like it's going to bring new thoughts in your head, new solutions to the problem that you're trying to solve. It's going to help you digest the information that you just now taught yourself. So yeah, just get into the habit of taking breaks, and like yeah, that's honestly the most that's honestly the best way to get efficient at this stuff. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat while I'm here. So I put a question. What about the Odin project? What's that? I'm not sure what that is. I mean, do a quick search. I don't know if that was a reference to something that was said earlier or. Either way, any other thoughts, comments, concerns about?
Oh yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to that was, like you said, if you're having to do all this research and you've dealt with and faced, obviously, and conquered the whole imposter syndrome thing, I think this is just a great point to remember at the end of class, to not be afraid to apply for the job, regardless of what the description says, right? Because you have plenty of time to research. So, when that time comes after December, and it's time to apply for jobs, that's when it's really going to kick in, and you can get intimidated looking at the Indeed description, but you should definitely just go ahead and apply, and kind of remember this conversation and all those takeaways at that time.
Right. That's really good, and we'll definitely have like a whole session on like how to apply for jobs, like what jobs that you can potentially qualify for, how to and even like towards like the middle-ish, we'll do interviews, we'll check resumes, we'll do all of that stuff. Let me share my screen really quick. Because I wanted to show y'all W3 schools, because I didn't want it to just be like a thing that was said and like no one actually sees what it is. So this is W3 school. I had put this link in the chat, and thanks again for mentioning that, Terrence. So this is the homepage, and you go to tutorials, and you can go to HTML. You see here, you see CSS here, you see JavaScript right here, and this is all JavaScript stuff. And some of this stuff we're not really going to go over in class. We're going to go over this React in class. We're going to go over I don't think they had other stuff on here, but either way, there's a lot of different stuff on here that for you to go through, and all of this stuff is user friendly. Let me just click on the HTML really quick just to see what's there. Introduction. I'm just gonna go here to introduction, and it's literally telling you like, okay, what's HTML? Hypertext markup language. Like it goes through, tell you the definitions. It even goes through and give you examples, and you can try this code out on this website also. If you click this button, it takes you to like an interactive environment where you can add different HTML elements in here, or just code in general. So I want to add like an I tag, whatever. I tag, just press run, and then it shows up here on the right hand side. So it's a really, really good way to interact, have an interactive environment. You don't have to like put together the index like HTML file, the CSS like file, and all that extra stuff. Like it's all here in this environment. And just to give y'all some insight, like I use this website to build my course. Like I literally went through all of this stuff to build my course. I went through and I only put the stuff I saw that was used most on the job, but everything came from this website. You're even going to see when y'all start going through more of the videos. If you go to this website, you're going to see examples that do the exact same thing. Like they like literally copy and paste from this website. So
Hi, Isaiah. I was actually gonna give my thought, but my computer was acting up in previous conversation.
yeah,
So personally, English is my fourth language, so it takes me triple time. Also, I am a developer and I work as a developer full time, along having a child, full time, full time mother and a wife. It's a bit hard for me to focus and then as well as the language barrier a little bit. So I have to work 3 times harder more than everybody else. So like for me, I wish you could like me elaborate more, but that's personally me.
like on I guess like some of the topics I teach in class. Or
Yeah.
okay.
Because sometimes I try to follow you along and I get lost and I just I learn when I do it with my fingers and like when I do it that's just my only input, I guess.
Yeah, I would say I guess the past like class or two, I did ask you guys not to like follow me. And if you're like a learn as you do person that may have like hindered you a little, especially when going back to like try out the videos. But I would say like moving forward, this class is going to turn into like the class teaching the class. Like I won't be the one up here talking the whole time. I'm literally going to assign sections and I'll have y'all speaking the whole time. Y'all doing the things the whole time. And you'll be doing it in your groups the majority of the time. So, but yeah. And if
I do agree. And I mean, I told you I do work as a SharePoint Power App developer, and I do have to use Java, CSS, and HTML. And usually I just Google them and copy and paste them and make them work. Yeah. So my main reason why I'm taking this class is to better understand what they are like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were saying you were copying and pasting them.
Yeah, because I do have to customize landing page with JavaScript and CSS and HTML.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely the place to learn those things, because I mean, so with the HTML and CSS part of it, I would say a lot of that. So the class will mostly focus on JavaScript. So with the HTML and CSS,
I do use Java. For example, I was just working on this project and I had to use a Java code to customize my landing page and my communication site. And I just went ahead and Googled it. And my goal is not to Google and just kind of know it off my top.
Right. I kind of want to yeah, and there's definitely a place for that. And I kind of want to comment on something that you said, and you probably did it unintentionally, but it's something I see people do very commonly. You had said that you do Java, and then you say you do JavaScript. So Java and JavaScript are 2 different programming languages, but people commonly try to say that they speak as if they're interchangeable. So I want everybody to like get in the habit of saying like, don't say like saying JavaScript. And the reason I'm saying get in the habit of doing that is because whenever you get to the interview and you say that you know Java, but you actually know JavaScript, it doesn't look too good. Like they may look at you as if like you don't really you may need some more practice. Like you maybe need to be at a different level. But I want to say that this is a very, very common like mix up because the names sound very similar, but they're two completely different programming languages.
Okay.
And that's no like shot on
No, I
you.
appreciate you. No, you would not be hurting my feelings. All criticism are character developer.
Yeah. I'm definitely here to help you out. But yeah, so just to tell you the distinction for the people who don't know, Java is a programming language that's on the back end. And back end programming languages differ than front end programming languages because back end programming languages can like do things like communicate with databases, they can like, you know how you go to different websites and let me share my screen actually so I can give you a quick demonstration. So so if you're on like different websites, let's say W3 School, we can see that it says like slash JS here in the URL. If I was to go to like SQL here, now it says slash SQL. Like basically the backend does things like handle the route that you're currently on. Now there are times where like the front end handle that as well, but it's a very known thing on the back end to handle like the routing, or that's what this is called, routing. So that's what Java does, and that's just like some of what Java does, not even a full picture. And JavaScript is how everything functions on the actual website itself. You click a button, you go to a different page. That's JavaScript. You click a button here, it interacts like, and all of this is interacting. The front end is interacting with the back end every time I press a button on this page, or most of the time when I'm pressing buttons. If I press this button, it interacts with the back end, and then it updates the front end using JavaScript. So there's like a constant communication between the front end and the back end, which is why I wanted to get to back end development towards the end of this course, so that y'all can see the full picture of what's going on websites.
Question: what is the difference between the front end and the back end? I've always wondered that, low-key.
Yeah. So I would say front end is everything you see here, right? Everything you see on the page, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, for the most part, is front end. And when I say like what you see here is basically like the user interface, like what you're interacting with. I'm on this page and I can see different buttons here. I can click different buttons on here. If I hover over these numbers, it changes different colors here. That type of stuff is defined as what's the front end. Now, the back end is a place that interacts with like the database. Now, if I look at this page, I can see that there's different things to click on here. These options, and I'm not sure where it's coming from on this website, but these options can come from the back end. Like there may be a database on their side, and that's probably what's happening, to be honest. The database is probably saying, okay, we have an HTML page, CSS page, JavaScript page, SQL page, Python page. Like it's telling me all of this information, and I'm just taking the information that I get from the back end and displaying it on the front end. Even this sidebar here, we see all these options. All these options can like be somewhere in the back end, somewhere in the database, and it's just literally for me to grab those options from the back end and use those on the front end. Even when if I go to sign in to a website, we see a login here. If I log in, now I don't think I signed up for this website, but if I log in and I put my email, my password, what the front end does is it sends the username and password to the back end. The back end looks in the database to see if you're actually part of this website. And if you are a part of the website, it'll check your password. If your password matches the password in the database, it sends a message back to the front end. And then the front end is what switches the page to the login page. So then it'll look like you're being like logged in there. The backend also handles like communication between like different services. For example, let's say like I had to sign up for this, right? And like I filled out my name, I filled out my email, XYZ. After I press sign up, what normally happens when you sign up for something is you get an email. So the front end sends your username, your password, your name, all of that, your email, all of that stuff to the back end. The back end saves it to the database. The back end also sends an email to you. It communicates with the service saying that, hey, this person just signed up, send an email to this email address. And that's when you see the email come in. So yeah, those are some of the differences between front and back end. I see that there's a hand raised, Olivia.
I had a question about like, so how do you use like jQuery and all those other libraries?
Right. So with jQuery, now if it's just libraries in general, I would steer clear from jQuery. That's I just want to preface with that. And the reason is because jQuery is outdated, to be honest. No one, if you see someone use jQuery on a job, then they're probably using like an old code base. Nowadays, what people use is something called Lodash. Lodash is much better than jQuery. Lodash is like a library similar to jQuery, but better, that you can use to enhance your code. And the way you use it is normally through something called a CDN. Just like we talked about with so in last class we talked about using like the like a bootstrap framework, and the one we used was Boma. You use a CDN, and basically you do the exact same thing. You put a script tag in there, and you link the URL to the code to this website. In this case, I think I can just download it, to be honest. I can download all of their JavaScript and then link their JavaScript to my HTML file, and then everything is going to work right there. And obviously we got to go through all of the documentation to see how that works. And but yeah, good question. And while we're on this website, this is something that we're going to do in this class. We're going to learn Lodash, a JavaScript framework. And when you hear JavaScript framework, just think of a JavaScript framework as an extension to the programming language. I told some of y'all to start going through the JavaScript sections. JavaScript is limited to what it can do. Now there's frameworks that extend the functionality, that allow you to do additional things, that allow you to do like sometimes the same thing a lot easier, in a lot easier like manner. So yeah, we're gonna go through Lodash probably in the next few weeks. We definitely want to see how to use these libraries with JavaScript. Yeah, but good question. Let me see if there's something in the chat.
Well, I just wanted to toss something out there because I remember someone put in a comment that they felt like it took them a really long time to do the assignment, the pre-class assignment, back when we was doing a pre-class assignment.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say to that person, don't worry about necessarily how much time it takes you to do something. You know, as far as comparing it to somebody else, at the end of the day, as long as you understand it, as long as you are able to finish it, as long as you ask all the questions that you have, that is the only thing that matters. Not necessarily the time it takes compared to someone else, because eventually your time will start to quicken. And the deeper you understand it, usually the more time you take, the deeper you understand it. But the deeper you understand the subject matter, you know, the better you will be in regards to in relation to everyone else. So like, it won't matter how quickly someone got it done, because at the end of the day, you'll understand it fully. Like, so understanding it fully is way better than getting it done quick when you learn it. Just as a, I mean, as a little comment to that message that I just remembered.
Yeah. And for those who, thank you for that. For those who are more of analytical, like they want to see the numbers between this stuff, like just to give you a statistic, if you are better one, like let's say you're 1% better every single day for a whole year, 1% better every day for a whole year compounds to 3,800% better for the whole year. Now, what that means is, as long as you focus on being a little bit better every year, by the time you get all the way to the end of the year, you're almost 4,000% better. So just always comparing yourself to you and not like how long it took somebody else to do it. Like as long as you got better over time, you're gonna see how much stuff you learn. And it's ridiculous how much stuff you actually learn and don't even realize it. So just focus on being better every day and you'll be fine. And yeah, those are the numbers. Those are like hard, like proven numbers, not just like a feel good or a motivational speech. So yeah.
Yeah, just to expound on that, don't get discouraged over how long it takes you to finish doing something, because like say for instance, what I just finished, HTML and CSS was super easy because I've practiced with it for a while. So my first 2 projects, I knocked them out, no problem, super easy. I was supposed to be done in May. It's June, and I just got finished this weekend with my last landing page project because it took me 2 months to really grasp JavaScript. Like we're literally learning how computers talk. So you have to give yourself patience. Like it's gonna be frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing outside of my kids that I've done in my life. And like it's just take it easy on yourself.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, I hope this class helped. I'm glad everyone, kind of gave their thoughts on it, and I hope it helps people feel encouraged about continuing. And I hope no one drops out of the class. I want y'all to keep going, keep pushing through, no matter how hard it is. Like, we're here to help. Just ask your questions, and like the goal is for everybody to get through. I'm not trying to have anybody drop off from the class. So yeah, it is 8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. On Sunday, we'll start JavaScript actually like in class. I'm gonna go over it like I'm gonna go through it like at whatever pace y'all allow me to go through it. But from right now, y'all should have already looked at the JavaScript section. Like y'all should actually be on the second section of JavaScript, if not past that. So make sure y'all definitely watching the videos. The whole course itself is 12 hours long. So maybe put in like an hour or 2 in the videos and then practice from there as well. Keep doing your group projects. It's not going to be due next Tuesday. I'm actually going to have it be due not this Sunday, but the next Sunday after that, to give y'all some time. On next Tuesday, just to give y'all a heads up, we're going to have a speaker come in, software engineer guy that I honestly just met, and he's going to talk to y'all about like how it is for him as a developer, and that's next week on Tuesday. And yeah, we'll present the projects not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday. And don't forget to ask your questions in Instagram or here, because I'll stay here until all the questions are answered. And if you don't have any questions, I'll see you on Sunday.
For the Leopards group, we are still meeting at 11 Lagos time, right? Is that, I should have just put that in the chat instead of asking that on the you dig, but
it's all good. Yeah. Let me stop the recording really quick.